when you live under the same roof with someone, boundaries very naturally disappear. But I think one of the things I love most and feel so fortunate about having this group as my family is like, I don't think boundaries exist in like the most wonderful way. I mean, it's, I just like, everyone is very open and honest and like so supportive in like the most genuine way you can imagine. And like in that environment, we're all like, I view everyone like as like my siblings. I mean, we call ourselves siblings, and like I want to know everything about what's going on in everyone's life and like at a real level, and I think we all have that. People who are outside of our pod, it's a little weird maybe at times, because they're like, wow, you all are very close. And we, kid that our neighbors here, seeing two different couples living under the same roof have kind of questioned like, what's the deal? And, but, I think it's so beautiful and is, like every day you kind of relish in it. And, but like to others, I think they would definitely say there are not boundaries, and like, does that get weird? But I think it's great.
We've all been mindful or aware of our relationships, to both as a unit and as the Sibs, but then also like our individual relationships, like Jacob as my partner, and we've just had to put more energy into we're gonna go on a date tonight. Like Mike and Leah went on a date last night, and like we want pictures the entire time, and like we stand outside the restaurant sometimes. But I think one of the things that is so clearly important, and if I were to give any type of advice, I don't feel in a position to do that, but if I were, I would say putting in that effort and that energy and being mindful of keeping like caring for and giving attention to that relationship is at times it feels really hard, or harder than maybe during other periods of time, but it is so important. I think we all, as of right now, after the hardest 2 years of our lives in our individual relationships, are better than ever and stronger than ever. And I think a lot of that is because we have been mindful of like caring for those things.
I'm thinking Matt has decided that he doesn't like the word happy and has sort of replaced that with full. And I'm thinking about the question about boundaries in the context of fullness. And I think our lives have just gotten a lot more full. And at times, to Mike's point, others can perceive the fullness of 6 adults, or if our folks are here, 10 adults, and with Kai around, the numbers grow. What are these guys all doing as a pod, but the fullness is real and felt. And then I will say though, there's a transition when Hav was physically with us, and now that she's not physically with us, and trying to understand where to get that fullness, and also then what now feel like creeping new boundaries, around how we spend our time together, who we spend our time with, what are we supposed to be, all that stuff starts to creep in differently. And so that's something I think we've been increasingly attentive to, recently.